So first of all, Mr. Holler, we have ID'd as A1 the electronic presentation you're about to see. It is how many pages?
I can't say.
So it is 16, 11 by 17 sheets. I'm going to cover the first 4, and our architect, the next witness, will cover the balance. Okay, but what you're about to see on the screen is identical to A1 in print form. This is a property we broadly know as the Madison Hotel. It is block 8404, lot 6. It's 1 Convent Road as a street address, and it has about 7.8 acres of land. Everyone in town's been by the property, if not in it, many times. The property has a 186-room hotel. It has a restaurant. It has a conservatory. It has a ballroom. It has a parking lot that now has 478 parking stalls on it. The back portion of the parking lot, which will be the focus of this application, is unused a large percentage of the time, and is basically just a paved land asset that we think can be put to higher and better use. If you look at slide 1, to my left and the board's right, we'll get started here. The project will be called the Regency. That's how we're going to brand it. And subtitled Luxury Residences at Convent Station. Before we go to our next slide, we're going to tell you this is a building that now has 284 restaurant seats. It has a ballroom with a 275 seat capacity. And it has a conservatory, which is a lovely structure at the front of the building alongside Madison Avenue that has about 125 seats in it. It was built in 1981 with town approval, site plan approval, and specific approval as a hotel, and it has operated continuously since that time. Some of you may also recall it used to be called Rod's. Now it's been rebranded to the Red Dog Tavern up at the front of the building. One important thing to understand about the application is that everything you see with respect to the Madison Hotel will not change. So number of rooms, the restaurant, conservatory, the ballroom, the overall architecture of the property, and the height, the length, the width, that building, that use will stay as is. Let's go to slide 2. This is the Madison Hotel, as shown from the intersection of Madison Avenue and Convent Road. For the purposes of all our discussions before you at these hearings, we're going to treat Madison Avenue as running east to west, east being toward Madison, west being toward Morristown. Convent Road we're going to treat as the north arrow. So going north means you're heading toward the train station. Going south means you're heading away from the train station. So those will be our observed north arrow and south arrow, and so on. Slide 2 shows the property with rather exemplary architecture. Our next witness will explain how when this was designed, now approximately 38 years ago, it borrowed from elements at buildings such as St. E's across the tracks in a northeasterly direction, and created a really nice, traditional, attractive, timeless building. And our architect is going to explain how he borrowed from these elements to show you the building he will be discussing with you shortly. Slide 3. This, as Marty and I talked about and our team talked about repeatedly over the last year or so, is a unique piece of property and a unique development opportunity for the town. It sits right on top of a train station. The intended site is nothing but paved macadam parking lot right now, most of it unused most of the time. So it creates a fantastic opportunity for us to have what we call transit-oriented development, which is a residential land use that allows people to walk to the train and use that asset rather than drive around and clog up the highways. And it also allows us an opportunity to do a fairly tall building in the area because we're so isolated from neighboring single-family homes. We're gonna walk you around the site here on slide 3. And we're gonna explain to you, first of all, let me orient you from upper left to lower right is Madison Avenue, AKA Route 124. The NJ Transit line from upper center to lower right is shown thus. Convent Road, running lower center to upper right and leading to St. E's is on the east side of the Madison Hotel. Slightly below center on this slide is the Madison Hotel complex right now. Everybody okay?
So far.
Cause I got butterscotch mints here.
I'm good.
Okay. So Madison Hotel is at the intersection of Madison Avenue and Convent Road. Another road worth talking about is behind the site, 2-lane road called Old Turnpike Road that provides on-street parking as well as east-west access behind the hotel property and makes a nice contribution in moving people to and from the train station. The train station is shown to the northeast of the proposed building. The post office is at the end of Convent Road. In addition to the train line running on that upper right part of the slide, there's a nice trail called Traction Line Trail that connects all the way from the center of Morristown all the way out, and I believe to past FDU, going to the east. It's a really nice trail some of us have used many times. This is also a site heavily influenced by institutional land uses, which provide the site with big open space buffers from the intended development. St. Thomas More Church is immediately to the east of us. St. Elizabeth's campus, which runs all the way back down to Park Avenue, is to the northeast of the site as well. And all the open space you see on the right center of slide 3 is currently open space for St. E's. The Liberty Green townhouses are across the tracks, across the railroad tracks from the site, and proceed north and west of the property. I think we have 178 townhouses in that complex. 170 units in that complex. And then we have single family homes. To the west is Shepherd Place, the nearest street. Moving west, Dickens Court, the nearest street to the east. And then down to the south of us, Canfield Drive, Crescent Road, and other roads on the opposite side of Madison Avenue. The ones that are on Madison Avenue are actually reverse frontage lots, so those houses don't face Madison Avenue. Instead, they face in the opposite direction, and a nice evergreen screen has been provided along many of the properties with Madison Avenue frontage. Now, so the proposal, you just...
Let me interrupt you, Mike, before you move off of this exhibit. I see some dimensions on that exhibit. Inform the board and the public what those dimensions are and the significance of
So
them.
to show you the uniqueness of the property in an area where we have a lot of zones that only require 25 or 50 foot building setbacks, we wanted to share with you some dimensions. First of all, the proposed apartment structure is the L-shaped image you see in blue at the center of slide 3. We prepared setback dimensions from the nearest part of the proposed apartment building to the nearest residential properties north, east, south, and west of the proposed development. Moving westward first over to Shepherd, we measured that the nearest house is 450 feet away. That crosses over the Met-like office building, which I forgot to mention, but we're 450 feet away. That's a football field and a half. We calculated the nearest distance from the proposed apartment to to Liberty Green is 400 feet. And that would be, not only over NJ Transit parking lots, but the train line as well before you got to that nearest townhouse, which is in the southeast corner of Liberty Green.
Is there a natural buffer there?
So there's a nice evergreen screen along the rail line and traction line trail. Okay.